Hermes Agent just dropped an official native desktop app, and it is the real deal straight from the Nous Research team. This app works on Mac, Windows, and Linux, and it allows you to talk to your agents in one window with streaming tool outputs, full built-in file browser, voice dictation mode, cron scheduling, and one-click MCP server settings. You open it up and you're talking to your agent in seconds, which is just absolutely awesome. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to set it up and run through the current features. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing you want to do is navigate to this website here, Hermes Agent, with the desktop, and it's going to bring you directly to where you need to download it. It already knows that I have Windows here, so it's download for Windows detected. But if you need some other versions, you got Mac, Linux, and also Windows right here. And I've already downloaded this, and just keep in mind what this install does. It's a really cool app, but it is actually going to be installing Hermes separately on your computer. However, we can set it up in a way that we can connect to our existing Hermes agent that is hosted on another device remotely, which is what I'm going to be showing you guys how to do today. So it's going to look like a screen like this. And one thing I did notice is I couldn't get past the installation screen without setting up like a model locally. So I did have to set up my OpenAI subscription just so I could get to this point here, because I knew what it was doing. It was essentially trying to install Hermes on this device, which is not exactly what I wanted, because I already have all of my workflow set up on my Mac Mini that is hosted and set up and stored in my basement. So in order to get the remote connection from a different device, we're going to want to go to this little cog here where it says Open Settings. It's going to bring you to all your different settings here, and we want to click right here on Gateway. So on Gateway here, it is going to be set up by default on local gateway. And this exact method I'm going to show you guys today is only going to work if you have your device on your same local network. So in my case here, I have my desktop hosted at this IP address here, 192.168.1.219, and then the port, this is the default port for Hermes, 9119. So if that's not your default port, you are going to have to change some settings in this little script that I'm going to give you guys and host it in the description below to make this easy to get your session token. So first thing we want to do before we set up our remote connection is we want to update Hermes. So as simple as just saying Hermes update. If you do not do this, it'll probably not work. I was having all kinds of issues getting this to work earlier, and I finally just ran the update Hermes command, and then it started to work, and it finally got me to the remote desktop connection that actually would let me link it to it from my Windows computer. All right, and that's fully updated. And now I've had Hermes build this command for me, so we can easily just grab a token file. All you have to do is copy this command. And like I said, I'm gonna put a drive link in the description so you can run this yourself. All you have to do is copy this, put it into your terminal. And right here, I'm just SSH'd into the system that I'm running Hermes on. So if you want to do this from your Windows computer, you can. You can also do this from the terminal on the device that is running Hermes. So right here, I'm just going to copy this command here and then go ahead and hit enter. And what this is doing, this is storing a session token in our environment. So it's going to build it out and it's going to store a session token in our environment, and then it's going to provide us with that session token so that we can connect to our remote instance through the desktop app. So right here is our token. I've got this mostly blurred out, but it'll just be generated right here using this prompt. So go ahead and copy that. And then we're going to go back to our desktop app here. We want to make sure we still have our remote URL put in right here. And then go ahead and copy in that token, and then make sure that this is changed to remote gateway, this setting here. And then we can do a quick remote test. So it looks like we're good. And then save and reconnect. And it's gonna look like it didn't do it, but in this case, it did do it, because when I go ahead and close this window, you can see here that all of my existing sessions from my Hermes agent just auto-populate over here on the left side. And then let's go ahead and change some settings real quick because I'm not a big fan of light themes. So in the settings here, you can change all of your different settings for your Hermes agent. You can set your time zone, your appearance, your workspace, change your different execution modes, your process, your safety modes, memory and context. These are all my default settings for compression threshold. Your voice settings, which is kind of cool. We'll run through that a little bit later. I'm going to leave all this as default. These are all my default settings for my Hermes instant as it stands right now. Let's go back to appearance here, and this is really cool. You can change this to a bunch of different modes. I'm going to go with the dark theme, and I think the dark theme with midnight looks awesome. Here's some of the other different ones. Like this is slate. This one's okay. Ember, mono, cyberpunk. That's actually kind of cool. This reminds me of like Fallout, actually. Yeah, more so than cyberpunk, really. But I'm gonna go with this midnight one. I think that looks pretty good. And then these are some of your other settings here. You can manage your API keys and your MCP servers. I'm not going to go into those because some of that is private information. But just real quick here, we can start a new session. And just to confirm that this is running, I can ask it, please list all of my configured profiles. And this is pretty cool. It's a pretty slick looking app. Like it kind of even reminds me a little bit of like Claude. You have that installed on your computer, and I can confirm here that I am in fact running this from my remote machine because these are all of my different agents that I have currently set up with all of their models, and it's got a nice little chart here, and it looks really nice, like everything. So I could even say like, what are my current tool sets? All right, and there you go. It just listed out all my different current tool sets that I have enabled and all the ones that are currently disabled. And I just think the whole thing just looks really, really slick. And I mean, it's still pretty nice to like chat in Telegram, but this is just super nice to have a official desktop app. So let's go ahead and test out the voice mode here. So this is how you can do your voice dictation. Very similar, like something like Discord. So it is probably listening to me right now. And I'm just going to ask it how it's going and if there are any tasks for tonight that we need to take care of. So it's transcribing that. And this is just using the free version. So let's see how it did here. All right, let's just see if it can figure this out. All right, and there we go. It ran a quick command here, and then it gave me a interesting response. So this is really cool. So you can now just like boot up this app that you have installed on your computer, and you're talking to your main agent in seconds. Now, one thing I wish they would add is a way that I can talk to all of my agents and all of my different profiles, because I do have them use different tasks. So maybe that'll be like something they can do in the future, and maybe there's even a way to invoke them here. Let's just see. Can I talk to Nova? Okay, so here it gave me a command to use. Let's see if this works. It said, can I talk to Nova? And it said, use this command, Nova chat -Q, and then the message here. So we're going to see if it is actually going to invoke Nova. Okay, and it said Nova answered here. You are running Quen 3.6 35BA3B, which is the local model that I have her set up on, which is running on my Mac Studio at this IP address. So I do think it worked, and I can confirm that by going to the Mac Studio and just checking to see if the local model was invoked. So you can at least chat with your other agents by using commands like this for now until they add some more features here. So that's the sessions. Let's go look at skills and tools. So these are all of your different skills and tools, and this is the really cool thing is you can toggle these on and off. It is pretty slick, honestly. So right now I pretty much just have everything turned on, it looks like. But yeah, if I wanted to turn some things off, I could turn it off there, and then let's see. Okay, so there's a bunch of different things here. These are all your tool sets, your cron jobs, code execution, clarifying questions, browser automation, image generation, video analysis. Okay, and those are all the tool sets that I told it to list out earlier. So they're all right here in this area. So it's just skills and then tool sets. So skills, and then they're all categorized up here. And then if you want to go to your tool sets, you just click on this one here. And same thing, you can turn them on and off as needed, just straight from this app. Okay, and this is all your messaging services. So right now I have Telegram and Discord set up. So it's putting this little dot here to tell me that's set up. And I also have Home Assistant set up. It's actually reviewed as a feature in a previous video. So go check that out if you guys are interested. But yeah, so it'll tell you what services you have set up here. So that's kind of nice. And then looks like you can even change your bot code and everything from the settings, which is really cool actually. So then you don't actually have to do this through a terminal or through asking your agent to set it up for you. You can just do it in the settings here. And then these is your artifacts. This is actually kind of cool. I was not expecting this. I hadn't gone here yet, but it's essentially showing me some of my older thumbnails on my other channel, my gaming channel. And this is for reports that I have configured to send to a website. And it's essentially doing like thumbnail analysis to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't work. And that is another future video coming up. I'm going to show you guys how to use a full web server with all of your Hermes agents and how to generate beautiful reports in a web page, which is really cool. So stay tuned for that video. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty cool here. And it looks like this is just giving me all of the artifacts that are listed top to bottom in terms of everything that I've generated to everything that it's sent in reports. So pretty cool. Okay, and then this is pretty cool here. You can pin your chat. So if you have a chat or a session, just like OpenAI or just like Gemini or Claude, you can pin one of these. So I could say current CLI tool sets, and I can go over here and then click pin, copy ID, export, rename, or archive. So I could pin it and then it'll put it right here so I can make sure I save that conversation for later if it's something that I really want to refer back to. So essentially what they're doing here is they're trying to make Hermes Agent as close to OpenAI's UI and also Claude's UI, so that is familiar to users and looks good and feels similar. So it's really smart. So we'll see what they come up with in future updates. And the final feature is actually kind of hidden down here. There is a command center, gateway, agents, and cron. So if I go to command center here, it'll give me all of my different sessions, system, and then this is pretty cool. This shows me the token usage as well for all of my different models set up. And then this one gives me some information on gateways. So Discord, Home Assistant, Telegram, and then gateway is set up. And then agents, this one was not populating. I have multiple agents set up and it is not showing me any of my other agents. So I'm not sure this is working properly, but that's there. And then the final one here is your cron scheduling. The very bottom, you just click cron here and you can go ahead and set up or disable or change any of your cron jobs. But anyway, that'll do it for this video. If you guys have any questions on getting this fully set up, let me know down below in the comments. I'm been doing another video pretty soon here, like I said, on how to set up a Hermes web server. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, have a wonderful day.